Well, there are so many highlights because of, by virtue of how many transactions we did with Kentucky Housing. They're all great. The ones that stick out in particular to me are the saves. And what I mean is they started somewhere else and something happened and they finished with us. One I have going right now is they were pre-approved somewhere else, and it was a good pre-approval. But when they got the contract, and to no fault of that other lender, they realized it was a single wide on a permanent foundation, single wide manufactured home. Well, that lender had to tell the realtor, I'm sorry, but I can't do that. And so this borrower, this client, who that's all they could afford in this market, right? A lower price point that often puts you into that property type. They were forced to have to say, well, I guess I'm just a renter, right? But we were able to say no to the realtor and to the client. Don't give up. We can do that. We can do that single wide on a permanent foundation that met HUD guidelines. Not only can we do that, but we can provide down payment assistance whereby you bring zero to the closing table. So that one's going to close. But there's so many stories like that that happen throughout the course of the year and through the course of my career because of doing business with KHC.
I had a home buyer who had previously gone through another lender and just wasn't able to get everything done. She's a single mom, and then she came to me, and I saw that she qualified for Kentucky Housing, and not just Kentucky Housing down payment assistance, but also the MRB program, so even lower interest rates. So her and her son were able to get into a home for much cheaper upfront than they thought they would, and much cheaper monthly than they thought they were going to have to pay, just because of those lower interest rates in the MRB program. You're able to see the impact you have on someone's life. They're at the closing table, someone that never thought they'd be able to buy a home, and you see the smile on their face when they get the keys, or maybe they're moving up to that next home with their family that they weren't sure if they'd be able to buy it. Now they have that larger space so they can really provide for their entire family.
I do know that we've had several of our agents, and one, Cheryl Johnson, she helped several of her clients in 2024 purchase a home here in Jefferson County through the help of KHC and Louisville Metro. And I know from her experience and her clients' experience, there's nothing greater when they have tears at the closing table. They never thought that they would be able to get a loan. They did not think that they made enough money. They worked really hard, got into several different programs, and when they got qualified, it took them a little bit, but when they got qualified, it was just the gratitude and the heart.
Kentucky Housing will allow not only double wide homes, but single wide homes on permanent foundations. With the programs that they offer. That's been helpful. A lot of folks think if it's a manufactured home, the rate might be 9% or 10%, or you have to put 20% down, and that's not the case. The one I did close a few months ago was $125,000 single wide on a few acres, nice little house, nice acreage, and it was the payment was a lot less than what they would pay renting. Rent costs can be easily $1,700 a month. So even a $200,000 priced house is going to be at $1,700 or less potentially, especially first-time home buyers with Kentucky Housing and down payment assistance. A little slice of heaven to call your own instead of renting.
So one of the highlights for 2024 for myself, and I know many of the people here at Stockton, is we have the sweepstakes of a free mortgage for a year, where we make payments for the winter for 12 months. And this past year, it just so happened to be a couple that with 3 children, and they were very deserving and needing of it. Seeing people buy their first house and seeing videos of the kids, go walking into the house for the first time, and that excitement, it's very rewarding, and it just kind of keeps you coming back.